And we are now live. So, hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna adjust the microphone real quick. Okay, then there we go. So, yeah, this is indeed a Q&A stream. And so basically you'll be able to ask questions to my OC, which is the one which is the one that I currently have set to the BNG tuber stuff right now. So, yep, I do have the chat open in a separate window, so I will be able to see your questions. Let me just enable display. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's just gonna be some background music. And if the music is very quiet, that's because I'm also very quiet. So, and I have not gotten the time to watch any tutorials on how to make my voice louder. So, yeah. Um, I'm gonna answer these questions one at a time, but the OC's name? The OC's name is Redac, and he is my Dave and Bambi OC, so that is that question. How long have you been interested in art? Who has been the biggest influence in your style? I'd say in terms of how long I've been interested in art, I'd say I've done a lot of art like in elementary school and stuff, but I got like really, really into art in around like middle school, I'd say. So, biggest influence on my style, I'd probably say some of my friends and one YouTube and then a couple YouTubers such as Bombastic Hype, Joha02. So I'd say in terms of that, those have been my influences and how long I've been interested. Also, I am gonna specify that this isn't like a overall this isn't like an overall Q&A. I will have one of those later, but this current Q&A, the one that I'm streaming right now, is an OC Q&A. So things like related to real life and stuff is not really gonna be done here. Sorry. So I allowed that question, but general real life questions are, please save them for a different stream. I am going to say this once again. This is an OC Q&A stream, and so, like, real life questions or questions not related to, the OC itself are gonna be not exactly acknowledged from here on because of the fact that, due to the fact that I'm, going to be acting like my OC. My OC does not know that there are other universes, or that he's even a creation of some, like, artist, so that's basically that. Tell us your OC's backstory. No, ask questions to the character. Yes, that is correct. So, tell us your OC's backstory. So, the backstory, so I guess I should start with the information about the OC. So, for starters, they are... Wait, no, I'm supposed to be acting with the character. Okay, then. So, I am around 16. I used to go to this school, well, more specifically a class, because there was only one class in the school, and the teacher was this person named Dave. He had a wheelchair. He has a wheelchair. He is able to get around by himself, and so he was the one that taught the algebra class. There was someone else with me, and their name was, their name was Lilac, and we both went to the same algebra class, and every now and then our teacher, Dave, would offer us some, like, basically what we called gibberish questions, because of the fact that all the numbers were jumbled together and you couldn't really understand it unless you who had that ability. And so I was able to understand them, but my friend could not. He was not able to wrap his head around how the questions worked or how they could be answered. And unfortunately, our teacher had some relatively strict punishments for those who did not get the questions right. And so one day I showed up to school and Lilac wasn't there. And I asked Dave where Lilac was, and he said that, he said that he said he didn't know, but I highly doubt that. So, I, to this day, still do not know where he is. And also, to the one in the chat asking if my OC has family, I did hear your question, but the questions do take time to answer. And so, if I do not answer your question immediately, do not think that I am ignoring you. I'm just probably occupied with another question asked before. I'm going in order these are asked, so I will move on to that question now. So, oh wait, no, there is a question before that, sorry. And so, what is the universe like where you are? Well, it is mostly peaceful. There's this one person named Expunged. He sort of scares me. And sometimes Expunged picks fights with, well, not really picks fights, but more just acts chaotic. And so that does shake up the order a bit, but other than that, it's mostly peaceful. And so, yep, that's basically how the universe is like. It's basically how it is and where I am. So, sure. And now for the question of, does your OC have family? Well, do I have family? So, I do know that I have family somewhere out there, I just do not know who exactly they are or where they are. That's the problem with being a Chaos God. You come into existence and sometimes your family will deem you too unstable, which I'm not, but sometimes your family will deem you too unstable and they will have to leave. And eventually I'll find them out there, but I just haven't found them yet. What are my hobbies? Well, I do like hanging out with my friends in the universe a lot. There are some, hobbies, like what I do. There is a, every now and then the bubble blower on the hat stops working and I have to go and fix it, so that's a hobby because it breaks really often. And so that can count as a hobby, I guess. And hanging out with my friends. There are some friends that are like sort of their area is really far away from mine, and so I don't see those ones as often, but one of them is relatively near me, and so the one who's near me, his name is Bandu. We like hanging out a lot. He's a fun guy to talk to. What kind of house do you live in? Well, I'd say in terms of that, I'd say that, like, the house doesn't always exist. Like, the house doesn't always exist, it only exists when I remember it exists. And so, usually it appears as, like, some sort of, like, cottage or something like that. So, basically the answer. It's the most difficult thing you've had to do. I'd say in terms of the most difficult thing I've had to do is, I'd say that would probably be, gathering my courage to, greet Expunged when I first met him, because when I first saw Expunged, there is a massive height difference in between Expunged and me and Bandu, and so I was freaked out by his appearance because at first glance he does seem sort of psychotic, but he's not really psychotic at heart. He's just a very quote-unquote high-velocity goofball of a Chaos God. And so, yeah, I was hanging out with Bandu, and Expunged showed up. And Bandu and Expunged are actually brothers, although you wouldn't know it at first glance because they look absolutely nothing like each other. And so it certainly freaked me out because I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know why he was here. But Bandu greeted him and said, "Say hi to my friend." And Expunged said hi, and it took me a long time for me to gather my courage and say hi back because I was incredibly intimidated. But I ended up saying hi, and yeah, that was basically the most difficult thing. Would I rather eat broccoli forever or potatoes only? Well, I would probably... It honestly depends on, It honestly depends on how the broccoli was. Like, if it was raw, I would rather eat potatoes. And so... If the broccoli was, like, cooked or something, I would eat the broccoli. But in terms of that, I would say, like, yeah, it depends on how the broccoli is cooked. If it was raw, I would eat potatoes. If it was, like, cooked or something, like, if it was seasoned or something like that, I would eat the broccoli, so. Do I have a love interest? I would say no, considering I have not... I don't know a lot of the people in the areas around me. I do know one of them. I do know people who are, like, either near or far. There's Bandu, there's another one who's friends with Expunged. I believe his name was Ramby, although I'm just describing the people near me, I'm not saying I have a love interest for any of them. And then there's Limbo, who is rather far away, but still he's fun to hang out with. But in terms of love interests, I would say I don't have any. What kind of responsibilities does a Chaos God have? Do you have Chaos chores? In terms of chores, I would say there aren't really any... There aren't a lot of them. Like, there aren't a lot of responsibilities that are, like... There aren't a lot of, like, major responsibilities. But every now and then the, realm gets in my area, or rather, realm gets really unstable and I have to go and fix it, which takes a while and is fairly annoying, but it has to be done or else, like, it would collapse, so. Yeah, so every now and then I have to go and patch up the realm so that it doesn't collapse. If your realm collapses, you're basically done. How do you learn stuff at school? Well, I did mention earlier that there was a school that I went to, and I did learn pretty much everything I know now in terms of academics from that school. Because although it was just an algebra class, we ended up learning everything we needed. And That's basically that. What is on your hat? Oh, that's my bubble blower. That's the bubble blower, and I don't know how exactly it works, but it does seem to regularly like reflect my emotions in terms of the quantity of bubbles it produces. So if I get really happy or excited, it just becomes relatively hard to see because of all the bubbles. And the bubbles don't usually like pop because they're supposed to reflect emotions, but they do pop whenever like my level of emotions decreases. So like if I get sad or something like that. You use your chaos powers for good or evil or both. I would say in terms of chaos powers, I don't usually use them because of the fact that if I mess something up, it is rather inconvenient to clean up after that. And so I don't usually use them, but whenever I do, it's usually to do something like change appearances, something like that. There's one time where I saw Bandu mimicking Expunged style, and I wanted to mimic him, and so I did that. And so that's basically the main thing I use them for. I don't really use them to do like anything special. You have special bubbles like a superpower. I cannot control the bubbles. They just reflect my emotions, so they are not under my control. They're involuntary, if you will. So but then again, I've never really tried, so I just would rather not try. Do you have any pets? In terms of pets, I have not discovered any in my realm or in anyone else's, so I am not sure where or how to find one. So that basically means no, I do not have a pet. Do you ever think it is inconvenient that everyone can see your emotions via the bubbles? I have not really thought of that actually, but I usually don't mind because no one intends to like point it out or something like that. What is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for you? I would say that in terms of anybody doing nice things to me, I would say the nicest thing someone has done is probably prevent me from freaking out after meeting Dave outside of the class, after seeing Dave outside of the classroom. Like, for example, somewhere like in Bandu's realm, because Bandu and Dave are friends, because Bandu does not know what Dave has done to warrant me freaking out. So, I'd say that would probably be the nicest thing. Do you have a favorite color? I would say in terms of favorite colors, it's probably like either some shade of purple or a mix of red and pink. So, yep. How would you describe your sense of humor? I would say in terms of humor, there are some things, like, for example, really just cheesy jokes. Cheesy jokes are funny, I like those. For example, like dad jokes or something like that. So, I'd say my sense of humor is relatively cheesy or something like that. Thanks, it's been great, gotta go. Oh, well, to those who are leaving, see you around. I hope to encounter you soon. I hope to re-encounter you soon. Let us know when you'll be on again. I would say in terms of me showing up on something like this, I would say relatively during the weekends, because weekdays are inconvenient. So, What is the most wholesome thing you've seen today? I would probably say, in terms of wholesomeness, I did stop by Bandu's area earlier today, and I saw Expunged holding Bandu in his hand like some sort of like, well, in terms of height difference between Bandu and Expunged, in terms of like height in general for those two, Bandu is around I'd say 3 meters, and Expunged is like has a way higher height in terms as he is total of 7 meters tall, and so I would say most wholesome thing is seeing Expunge just hold Bandu in his hands like some sort of I don't know what it would represent, but still. Do you have a favorite food? I would say, in terms of favorite food, I would say probably sweet things. Sweet things like kettle corn, stuff like that. So, corn in general is a favorite of mine. So, does my dad approve of my love of corn? As I said earlier, in terms of my family, I don't know where they are, so I would not know if they approve of it or not. Why do I wear a scarf? Is it cold where I am? I just wear the scarf because I like it. I think it looks nice. Do I have a favorite song? I don't have a favorite song in general, as I like a lot of songs, but in terms of genre, I would say not exactly pop, but I would say like cheery music is usually the genre I listen to the most. Okay, then I think that that will be enough streaming from me today. It was it was nice to receive questions from all of you. It was actually really nice. And so farewell.